Hello, welcome back to SwiftCat. In this video tutorial, I'm going to show you how we can make grade and list view for iOS by using a collection view. So at the end of this video tutorial, what we're expecting from our simulator or from the device is it will be looking for a collection view like this. So it's for a grade and this is for a list. So I'm here initializing and showing it as a grid, and if I want to show it as a list, it will move like this, and it is completely by programmatically, and we are using storyboards anyhow. So this is the end product which we are expecting at the end of this tutorial. Alright, so I have attached a description in my video that we have a source of what we are going to use. This is actually I made it prior in order to make the video tutorial much more less, otherwise the video will go for 40-50 minutes. So in order to reduce the time, I'll be using few stuffs directly, and I will explain you how it will be. Okay, so let us start our project. So file, new project. It's a single view application. I'm going to use here one collection view with grid and list. You can use it in a lot of ways, like you can use a table view and collection view, and you can show it as for grid and list. Either you can use two cells, but I am using here only one single cell, and I am going to use auto flow layout in order to show it in a grid and list. Okay, so let's name our project. The name of the project which I'm going to name here is grid and list collection view. So I will name it as view simply, and I'm going to click for it's a Swift language, and you can save it wherever you like. Here I am mentioning in desktop. Right, so first thing is first, let's go to our main storyboard. Alright, so here what I'm going to do is I want a few image assets and as well as the storyboard to be named. Okay, I'm going to editor and embed in for a navigation controller. Let's arrange it more specific. Alright, and you can name it here whatever you like. I'm going to name it here alright. And first of all, I will be placing two buttons which need for a grid and list. So I'm taking button. This is the first button, and I'm going to color it as, name it as grid, and the background color can go something like this, and make the text color in white. Okay, so I need the button for the list, so I will command D so that you can get another one, and I'm going to name it as list. So the width, which here is 174, I'm going to make it as 187, and here as well for 187. Alright, and let's make some constraints over here. So let it be 0 0, the height of 50, 27. Add constraints here as well, height of 50, right, constraints, and to show it as in a stack view, so I'm going to go here, editor view, stack view. Alright. The next thing is I'm gonna call for a collection view, UI collection view, and keep it in our main.storyboard. Let's make some constraints. Right space, bottom, everything else, and then control and drag to like this, top space to safe area. Alright, that'll be perfect. And this is our cell. I'm going to make it much more bigger. Alright. Let be this. First of all, I will make a view so that I want to show it in as a card view inside. So I'll make this. Alright, let's make some constraints. Okay, for this is top, bottom, right, everything else. Add 4 constraints. Inside this, I'm going to call one image and a label. So let's take UI image, placed over here. Inside, make sure that you are putting inside the view which I placed before. And a label as well, UI label from our attribute inspector. So sorry, UI label. Okay, let's make some constraints. 0, 11, height of 78. No, makes much more bigger. Okay, 0, 11, right, and height of 89. And for UI label, I'm gonna make it 8, 11, this, and height of 28 will be fine. Okay, so that's my stuffs in my storyboard. So what I need next is I need to create some IB outlets and for the collection view cells class as well. So let's go to our assets and add few assets which we need for our project. So I'm going to add new image set and need to take few stuffs from image assets. All right, so okay, let's take all the images into our assets folder. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, let's go to our main.storyboard and let's make the class as view controller, and I need few IB outlets from this field. Make it more clear, more visible. All right, so here I'm going to make IB outlet for collection view. And I'm going to make IB outlet for grid button and list button as well. Grid button. And list button. Okay, then let's make an action as well for grid and list outlet. So it's let's say grid tapped by any center, and IB action for the list as well. If it's a list tab. Alright, so next thing is I need to create a new file for a collection view cell. So let's name it as global cell. You can name whatever you like. Here I'm naming global cell. So that will be a subclass of UICollectionView cell, and it's Swift language as well. Great. And we need to put some IB outlet for this as well. Before that, let's go and click the cell and select our class as global cell, and make it as a cell identifier name as global cell, same name as well, global cell. Alright, so class of global cell, and identifier the name as same name as well. So here I need to make a few IB outlets for my cells. So let's check manually. Global cell. So here I have a view, so I'm going to create a view, name it as card view. Let's make more space. Then I have an image. I need an outlet for image view. The last one is for a label, and name it as label as it is. That's all from our storyboard part. Okay, let's make sure that you have your delegates done. Let's name it as data source delegate. Alright, okay, so we're done with all our IB outlets. So the next part is going to be our coding. All so in this section, in our global cell, that means our UICollectionView cell, I'm going to override func awake from nip, and it's a super view awake from nip. Okay, so I need the image view dot layer dot corner radius to be around, let's say 3, and image view dot layer dot marks to bounds, let us say true. Copy the same, and I'm going to do it for my label. and copy the same for card view as well. So here I have named card. Okay, that should be like that. I named it as CAD view instead of card view. It's okay. Alright, so next thing is I'm going to create 2 more new Swift files which we need for our grid and list. So let's say we need to make actually our flow layout. So I'm going to take new file, that will be a Swift file, click next. I'm going to name it as grid flow layout. Create and say finish. It will be like this. And one more is create new file, and that will be for our grid flow layout, sorry, list flow layout, list flow layout. Create. So we have grid flow layout and list flow layout. So just make sure that I'm going to use GitHub source code which I have created already in order to reduce the video length. So this is the you can see in the video description I have mentioned the link for the source code. So this is the link to it. It's a grid list collection view, and if you go inside, I have a grid flow layout .swift file. Just copy it all, copy it, and we're coming to our grid flow layout file and just place it over here. I'll explain you how it comes. Go back in our source code, go to list flow layout .swift file. Inside that we have this particular code which is for list flow layout. Copy it, come to our Swift file project, just place it over here. So let's go through what's going on here. So this is for a grid flow layout. I have placed here, I have defined the height of the cell as 160. Let's say it's a 160. I just mentioned it as 160. And required coder, I have mentioned setup layout for the collection view. It's 1 pt distance between each cell and 1 pt distance between the plus and row in a vertical layout. So it's a function step up layout with minimum interspacing of 1, line spacing of 1. It will be a vertical. And item width, I have mentioned is as collection view with frame divided by 2 minus 1. Here what I am doing is here we define the width of the each cell, creating 2 or column layout. In case if you have create 3, you can change the number from 2 to 3 actually. And it's overriding, I'm giving the set of item size what I mentioned here with height and get as well. So that's actually the UICollectionView flow layout. And I have override hit superinit. That's I'm calling this function in setup layout. These all functions. And for list view, exactly the same thing. I'm mentioning here the height. Let's say the height of the cell is as 160, and I have mentioned here record layout minimum interspacing length of 0, line spacing 1, and it's for vertical. And this is for a list flow layout, UI collection flow layout. And I have mentioned here the returns as value as return collection view dot frame dot width as it is. If you want in a different way, just adjust according to that here, so that you can change the view of the list accordingly. You can just replace the codes on whatever appearance you'd like to get. So let's go to our main view controller.swf file. So I need to implement all the things which I mentioned in my grid and list view into my view controller. So okay, so I'm going to put it as var is grid flow layout used. I'm going to use as a bool as false I'm going to say as did set this is the function which I am going to call is the grid flow layout used or not. If it's in used, it will say true, and if it's in false, it will say to list view. So next one is I will go to that later on. So now it's grid var grid flow layout equal to grid flow layout, which is the class which I have mentioned here, and var list flow layout equal to list flow layout class. This is actually the previous class which I have mentioned for the grid flow layout, and as well as this is for list flow layout class we have created already. Okay, so then here I need to create few stuffs for Viewdidload. So let's avoid these things. Actually didn't do create. Okay, let's make more space, and here I'm going to make collection view dot collection view layout. I'm going to default as grid view. If you want in a list view, you can make it as list view. So initially I want it as grid view, so that's why I'm giving here as grid flow layout for Viewdidload, and then collection view dot data source. Data source will be of self, and is grid flow layout used. I'm using here as true. So here the condition is true for is whether we have used this is grid flow layout. Okay, then is grid for the IB action button as well, is grid layout use, set the value as true for grid tapped. If the button is for grid, it will be grid view tab. If the button is for list, I'm going to mention it here as false. So this will work accordingly. All right. Sorry. As UI collection view data source. Okay, so next thing is I'm going to put a private func update button appearance. Here I'm not going to it deeply, and just making the flow layouts for, let's say, let layout equal to is grid view used. Grid flow layout, and list flow layout. Here UI animate, animate with duration, void in, make sure there is a space in this one. Okay, that's showing some error. I made a space in between this. So now I'm going to animate for self dot collection view dot collection view layout dot invalid layout, and for self dot collection view dot set collection view layout as layout animated true. Okay, and then what I'm going to do next is I need to create some file for images and label. So before that, as first in var is grid flow layout used, if its bool function is false, I'm going to call this update button appearance according to this. Inside that you can make some view, like suppose if you want the button to be changed in color or background or something else, you can use that code over here. So in this one I'm just mentioning it how the animation of the collection view layout will be used. And the final one is, let's go to our collection view sets. So this one, file private let array of value, so I'm going to take it from here, from our source code, in our viewcontroller.swift file. Just copy this all. Actually, I have the assets according to the names according to that as well. So here I have the image assets to be named. That's file private let. I just simply mentioned the array as a set of names which I'm going to use, and images to be displayed as 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, which I have mentioned it before, that 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, that I am going to call here in my view controller as items to be displayed for this. And let's go to our extension file, extension view controller UI collection view data source. So as from here we don't need this thing, just remove it, because we have mentioned here UI data source. So the first thing is gonna ask add protocols. Just click it. These are things which we are gonna use. So let's say return for the number of items in section. I'm going to tell it as items to display dot count. That's the item. Actually I have mentioned here, taken here around 6 to 7 images. So I have mentioned here this is item to display, that I am counting in number of items in section. And apart from that, let's say let cell equal to collection view dot reusable cells, reusable cell with identifier and here the string which is describing the cell which we have used is global cell dot self for index path as global cell. Return cell. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to call the index and the image and the label view inside this. So let's say let index equal to index path dot row percentage items to display dot count, and let image name equal to items to display for index dot 0 at cell dot image view. This is the image which I've created there already for IP outlet, is equal to UI image named, I have to say image name. Next thing is I'm going to call it for cell dot label dot text equal to array index path dot row. Alright, and the final one is cell for the card view, actually, that I am going to create as a separate class extension for our card view. So I'm going to create extension. This is for a UI view. This extension is for the card view which created inside that card cell. Card view, let's say func card view UI view a view dot layer dot corner radius, let's say 2.0, view dot layer dot border color will be of UI color dot light gray color dot CG color. Then view dot layer dot border color dot border width actually will be 2.0, view dot layer dot shadow opacity equal to 1.0, and view dot layer dot shadow color equal to UI color dot clear dot CG color, and view dot shadow radius, view dot layer dot shadow radius will be of 2.0, view dot layer dot shadow offset is equal to CG size of width of 3 and height of 3. Then view dot layer dot mask to bounce, view dot layer dot mask to bounce, let it say true, and this is out of set card view small view at UI view. So in this one I'm going to make it as cell dot card view dot set card view of UI view, going to say as cell dot cat view. Okay, that's all. So we have done with everything else. Let's run and see. Okay, we have this okay, the buttons are going below that nav control, so I think need to put some more constraint in stack view. Let's say 0 0 and half height 50. If in case if you want to put some image in between this one, let it say image in the background. I'm going to click that image. I'm going to import and see in here and go to main storyboard. I'm going to set that image view as alright. That's all for this, and let's run it now. Okay, that's a view for with the grid view, and we have that image and the label, all these stuffs. Let's click on the list button. Okay, this has admitted to the list view as well. If I go back grid, it will be like this, and list. Okay, this is for with one collection view, and I have used here auto layout for collection flow layout, and with one single collection view with one cell, we have made this in grid and the list view. Okay, that's for all for the tutorial, and go through the description, which I have mentioned the link from GitHub for the source code. Follow it according to that. Thanks for watching this tutorial. Thanks, see you, bye.